Let's see. Hello. Howdy. Howdy. Hello there. Welcome. Welcome. Okay, about a week ago, I found out that I got accepted by RISD, the Rhode Island School of Design, for the class of 2026, which is very exciting. It was the only art school that I applied to. I applied to other schools, but not for art. But yeah, I got in. I got accepted. That was very exciting. And then after I got over the excitement of being excited, I was like, you know what? I can make a clickbait YouTube video out of this. So here is said video. I really like watching accepted portfolio videos on YouTube. I just like seeing people's different styles and their work. And I also watched a lot when I was making my portfolio. I would say not to compare yourself with me, but I feel like that's gonna happen no matter what. So yeah, college decisions is super random. Getting accepted into a school says nothing about how good you are at art. I know because I have so many classmates that are just insanely good and better than me who didn't get accepted. So I don't know how that works. I go to an arts charter high school, and also I went to like a studio outside of school when I was doing my portfolio. A lot of it is also just me doing stuff myself. So yeah, I have my slide room up. I'm gonna talk through it and then maybe I'll say more at the end. Oh, you can see my Pinterest thingy. Pinterest Chrome extension. Just ignore that. I really like RISD because you can go in, they don't expect you to declare a major first year, and I don't know what major I'd want to do, so I like that. I don't know if I'm going yet, but that's something I like about them. So my portfolio is kind of, I think they have you pick like your top three choices for majors that you're interested in. I think I put painting, textiles, and like illustration or something like that, but I really don't know. I'm interested in a lot of stuff. I think, oh yeah, you're allowed 12 to 20, and I think, yeah, I have exactly 20. When I was putting this together, I had way more than 20, and I had to cut it down. Okay, this is my first piece. It is called Blossom. You're required to like title all your pieces, and I hate titling work, so just ignore that, okay? I did this in gouache, starting from the center. I don't know if I'm gonna read all. Maybe I'll just leave the descriptions there for you to read, and then I won't read them because they're cringe and I don't like them. I don't think that deep when I make stuff. I just like do things that I think are cool. I do them for the visual coolness aspect, basically. I was like, what if I made a rose out of hands? That'd be pretty cool. And then I started it, and then I was like, I don't know how to do the background. So how about I just fill it up with hands and then I don't have to worry about backgrounds. I don't use like depth or backgrounds very well. I just like everything is foreground. When I was doing it, I just like took a bunch of pictures of my hand and then painted them. Wow, that's kind of crazy. Never would have guessed that. I like the way I did the colors. I think this is a very striking piece. Grabs your image. What did I say? Grabs your eye. All these pieces, they're either a few months old or a few years old, so I don't know if I am the biggest fans of them anymore. Okay, this piece, I think everyone always compliments this piece, even though, like, technically it doesn't look that good, I think, but, like, the idea is cool. I was sitting one day and I was like, what if I painted on a knitted, like, rectangle or something, on knitted fabric? So then I got a bunch of scrap yarn and I knitted this, like, rectangle, and then I painted on it. I painted me knitting it. Meta, yeah. Here's my random description. I'm not gonna talk about them. They're just like me trying to put meaning where I didn't intend it. This was a pain to paint because yarn soaks up paint. So I used this, I forgot what I used, but I used like clear, it was like clear, I forgot what it was, but like clear stuff that I basically like soaked it in before I painted it so it would get all like hard and crunchy. And then I painted it with oil, and it was still really hard to paint on. It looks pretty cool, and people like to like this piece. Okay, this next piece, I first painted the thing on the right, and then I thought it was like a cool concept, but then I had to go through the pains of oil painting it, and it was indeed painful, and I didn't really like the result. So then I got bored of it, and I spray painted over it, and it says fear. It may look like a different F word, but it says fear. I just thought it looked cool. My commentary is so lame. The original idea was that, like, power corrupts or something. Like, the vulture symbolizing death is blinding the king with his own crown, the symbol of his power. That's so deep, wow. Okay. I think it's cooler after I spray painted it, but I included both because it's like, you can't really see my technical skill in the other one, and also it photographed worse. It's like, I could do oil paint, maybe, sort of, and I spray painted it, because why not? This one, I think this is the one that, while I was making this portfolio, I asked so many different people and art teachers to like look over and give me feedback, and this is like the least liked among those people, but I put it in there because I like it. And now that I look at it again, I don't like it. This photo also looks really straight. I just like this one portion with the skull. I think the skull is beautiful. Everything else is like, meh. I was required in my art class to do a still life, and I was like, still lives are boring. I thought it was cool how like the skull and like the drapery, it's like white cloth, which is like, it could be associated with funeral or something like that. And then I was like, oh, mushrooms are also decay, but they'll be really colorful. It's like juxtaposition of the white and the really colorful stuff. And also the little drip things, they feel like growth to me at the same time. So it's like growth and decay. I called it still life with a capital L. When I think of meanings behind pieces, it's more like vague ideas rather than an actual succinct description. All my descriptions are like, I wanted to explore the ideas of this, this, and this, not this is making this exact statement, you know what I mean? Next piece, also mushroom themed. I like using mushrooms as symbolism, and also I just like drawing them. This is a self-portrait. This is one of the oldest pieces in here. It might be the oldest. I did this, I think, freshman year? Oh, actually, I know the story behind this. I was like playing with the Instagram filters, and there's like an Instagram filter where it makes your eyes like a black hole or something, and I was like, wow, that's cool. So then I had that picture, and then I was like, let's just put mushrooms on it. You know what? Let's do that. Yeah, so I said it was depicting growth, decay, parasitism, and the feeling of being overwhelmed with negative thoughts and emotions. Wow. I just think it looks cool. I like the look of like mushrooms growing out of skin. I know it's like icky, but like I think it's cool. So yeah. Okay, next piece is also a self-portrait. I put them together. This one was much more recent. I was crying one day, you know, as you do, and I took a picture of it, and then I drew it. I was trying to experiment with water-soluble graphite, which I had some of for some reason. I added some more drips with just like watercolor ink, and then I also used some like white charcoal in there. This was basically me just experimenting with water-soluble graphite. And I thought it'd be cool because it's like I'm crying and there's dripping. I really like doing the whole like drip thing in my paintings. I called it Afternoon Sun because it was sunny. Now we're getting into the more digital art aspect of this. I did this for this like story I was working on that I never finished, but it's like the house of one of the characters I designed. And this is like the one time I've ever drawn a detailed digital environment background sort of drawing that's not characters, you know what I mean? And I really like it. I like the colors. It's based off a whale skeleton, and like the story is centered around whales because I love whales. Yeah, I like the colors and the vibes. I want to live in a beachside cottage made of whale bones. That sounds epic. Next, we have two character design things which are related. I don't really have anything to say off of it. I thought this would be cute. I like little cozy fairy kind of stuff. So this is a little moth lady. And then the next piece thing is just like the design back parts, the designing iterations, sketch silhouettes, colored thing. Yes. Concept art is the word I was thinking of. Concept art for that. RISD does say that they're like, you can include like 1 or 2 sketch pieces or something like that, or like whatever process. So that's what this is. This is a pretty cool silhouette. This is a comic I made. I don't know how good it is comic-wise, but I put it in there because I like it and it shows variety maybe. My justification is like non-existent. I was just doing whatever felt right. It's about a little bunny who learns about patience. It's called Carrot Farmer. Okay, this next one I did in class, and it was a group project. So we came up with a story together. The story is, if you know what a tardigrade is, they can like survive in crazy environments in like space or like without water or something. So it's based on that concept. So there's like this indestructible, immortal tardigrade guy, and his one goal in life is to eat a delicious burger. but he keeps getting thwarted by the universe, and that is the story. And it was like a long 5-minute animatic, but I just included the part that I drew. So I'll link it in the description. Here, I'll skip through it. The reason I did it is because, as I said, a lot of my art is focused on like foreground, and I never use backgrounds, but this is like the few times I like actually use composition and drew with middle ground, foreground, and background. I don't know, composition or something, perspective, all that I really just like squeezed into this one video. Not intentionally, but it's the one video that like shows any of that among my portfolio. Okay, next. This is something, like these were just like meaningless doodles in my sketchbook, and then I liked them, so I just like did them digital too. I wouldn't have included this, but I did like a RISD portfolio review, and they liked it. The reviewer liked it a lot, so I was like, okay, I guess I'll include it. They liked it because it like shows your personality and like stuff you like in art, I think. Like it's like you having fun or something, versus like fine art, which, you know, it feels kind of stiff sometimes. I don't know, whatever. This is definitely just like very loose sketchbook doodles. Next section pretty much of my portfolio is like figure drawing. I did take like a class thing for it. I did it in gouache. Let me see, it was 4 hours live. I like the pink. I think I did a pink underpainting, and I like how that showed through. This next one is also 4 hours, I think. Everyone I've spoken to usually likes this one less, but I like it more because I like the colors. I love bright colors. This is also with gouache. I really like how I did the mask. Also, the model was just wearing this like epic cow sweater and cow earring. These are like my more rough figure stuff. I had a lot more like just like regular charcoal figure drawings, but I think this is more interesting. It's more like experimental and also colorful. I don't know, I guess it's just more like unique, maybe, perhaps, potentially. I really like the one on the left. I was like, wow, I don't have much like animal stuff in here. So also art schools, I guess, really like stuff from life, I think. And I did these from life, so I was like, I'll include that. This is another self-portrait. I was just laying on the floor and I took a photo in my mirror of me laying on the floor, and then I painted it in oil. I really love the color I did on my jacket. I think that turned out really good. Okay, this one's a more recent one. This one, I was like, I'm tired of doing fine art with meaning, so let me just do an easy photo study. And then I proceeded to not make it easy for myself. Basically, I got this like scrap piece of fabric left over from some other project that had like hot glue paper glued to it, weird texture. And then I was like, you know what would be fun? If I sketched this in hot glue. So I did the sketch with hot glue lines. I realized that I really made it difficult for me to do a simple photo study. So then I really had to go all in. I kind of went crazy with the hot glue texture. I used modeling paste as well for the texture, and then just like thick oil paint. And this is just like a parking garage near my school that I walk by a lot. And then I think I talked about like liminal spaces or something, because I think they're cool. Oh wow, this is a long thing. I'm not gonna show the title. The title is the latitude, longitude, like map coordinates of where this is. So just imagine, it's like a random string of numbers, basically. Yeah, I wrote something about like liminal spaces. I don't know, this is just like a really weird piece that is experimental with texture. Okay, I did some like portfolio reviews for RISD specifically. They have, their foundation year is like drawing something, I forgot, spatial dynamics. There's some sort of like emphasis on space. So I was like, how can I do something that uses space? And then I came up with this genius idea. That's sarcasm. It's a sculpture that you view through shadow, and one way it looks like a train, but the other way it looks like a brain. Mind blown. And it's titled, I Lost My Train of Thought, because it's like a mess of wires, and it's like a train and a brain. You know what I'm saying? That's as deep as it goes. It's train brain, you know? It's shadows, when you lose your train of thought, it's like, I don't know, you can find it again through the shadow, but it's when you don't look at it with the shadow, it's just a jumble of wires. I think this is my last piece. It is called Ice Cream Sundae. For no reason, bug photography I think is cool when they like show the close-up of the bug and it's like all cool and pretty and rainbows. So I wanted to basically do that. And then I went a little crazy with modeling paste and I gave it weird texture and colors and I thought it was cool. I just like doing stuff that's really colorful and funky. And yeah, I think that is it. Yeah, that's the portfolio. The way I ordered it, I people say a lot of stuff about this. I really have no idea. I wanted to start strong and end strong, but also I kept it kind of sections, so like fine art stuff and then digital stuff and then figure drawing and sketchbook kind of stuff. I grouped similar stuff together for the most part, but I put the hand piece first because I was like, it's grabbing your attention, literally. Wow. And then I put the bug piece last because it was one of my favorites. These two pieces, all the ones I put last were like my most recent, so I thought they were pretty strong. Okay, RISD assignment. For this year, you had to choose from this list, and the options were ephemeral, tangible, complexity, contradiction, chaos, and order. I picked chaos and order. This I did really last minute, it's kind of ugly. This list of ideas I did do before I started. Most of the other stuff I did after I finished, because I don't really like doing a lot of preparatory work before I do stuff. I'm pretty spontaneous. If I do a lot of preparatory work, I just get bored of a piece and give up. So normally I just like start and do whatever I feel like. My RISD assignment, I crocheted a heart, and at first I was just going to take like a photo of it, but then I decided to make a little short film thing. It's not really a film, it's like a video thing. I'm not gonna play it because it's on my channel and you can check it out. I'll link it right now. I'm really proud of it. I think for the assignment, they expect you to be like really experimental. So I kind of went crazy and I incorporated a lot of like video editing stuff in addition to crocheting. And I made this like plastic body cover thingy. Plastic body mold? I don't know. I made like a plastic person. Yes. And the original intention was that it's clear, so I would put the heart inside of it and then photograph it, but that didn't really it looked bad, so I just made a video instead. There's no part where they ask you to explain it, so I didn't, but I feel like the circulatory system and human anatomy I think is really cool, and it definitely represents chaos and order because I don't want to explain it. Knitting and crocheting seems the same because there's one hand you tangle yarn and on the other hand you methodically tangle yarn in a way that makes fabric, and that's chaos and order to me because what's more chaotic than a tangle of yarn? But crocheting or knitting puts that into order. That was my portfolio. A lot of people in these videos, they put advice, but I don't really have any advice because I don't really know what they're looking for, what is happening. One thing that I did do is I did the RISD portfolio review thing on Zoom. It was good, but they have a lot of people to do, so it was pretty quick, but it was definitely helpful. And then I also did the ACAD slide room portfolio review. That I picked 5 pieces, and then it sends it to a bunch of schools, and then they give you feedback through an email. And the feedback from RISD was actually really helpful while I was making my portfolio. The 3 foundation year classes are drawing, design, and spatial dynamics, so try to cater some of your portfolio towards that. The things I had in mind while creating my portfolio, which I don't have no idea is right, but I was thinking variety in terms of mediums because, I don't know why I did that, but that was in my mind while I was making this. I feel for college portfolios, or at least this one, I don't want to give advice because I don't know anything. I'm just gonna speak anyways, okay. I feel they like to see you experimenting and taking artistic and creative risks. Perhaps from all my portfolio reviews, everyone loved that knit piece. I think it's just something that you don't see very much. I ask for feedback from a lot of people, especially since I had way too many pieces and I had to cut some, but that's really hard to decide because you have no idea what quality you're looking for. So show your art to a lot of people, show your portfolio to people. Everyone will say different things, so at the end of the day, just like do what you want and pick stuff that you're happy with. And if they don't like the stuff that you're happy with, then too bad for them, they're missing out. Yeah. If you have any like thoughts or like ideas about the meaning behind my work, I'd love to hear it. I think that's really interesting. Okay, no one's gonna care, but you know, just in case. If you watch this far, please check out my Etsy shop. It's pretty cool. I'll leave the link in the description. My friend and I worked really hard on it, so please check it out and buy stuff perhaps if you're interested, and leave us good reviews, please. Thank you very much. And thank you for watching this video. I hope it was helpful in some way, or entertaining, or at least took up some time you were trying to kill. Have a lovely rest of your day. Good luck. Have fun. Thank you for watching. Goodbye. Bye-bye.